If you've been working with AI for a while, you've probably felt this shift. We're moving way beyond just treating it like a super smart chatbot. For professionals, the real win is about creating a structured, repeatable, and honestly, a reliable way to collaborate with it. So let's dive into the blueprint for making that happen. It's called agentic engineering.
And at the heart of this whole thing is this fundamental conflict in how we approach the work. On one side, you have what's kind of jokingly called vibe coding. It's fast, it's chaotic, you're basically a prompt DJ just hoping for the best, and then you just YOLO the output into your project. And on the other side, you have agentic engineering. It's a real discipline, it's built on planning, on rigorous review, objective testing, and at the end of the day, professional ownership of the outcome. And this quote it nails the problem, doesn't it? Vibe coding is awesome for a quick prototype, for just messing around. But the second you try to scale it or make it secure for professional work, it just falls apart. You're left with what some people are calling AI slop. Code that kind of works, but nobody, not even the AI, truly understands it. That's not a sustainable process. It's just hoping.
Okay, so if hoping isn't a strategy, what is? Well, we need a much more disciplined approach. And this means moving away from just, throwing prompts at a model and toward orchestrating a whole system of intelligent agents that are under our direct and expert control.
So this is agentic engineering. It's not about letting the AI take over, not at all. It's about defining a professional practice where you are the architect. You're the one who defines the goals. You set the quality bar, and you are accountable for everything the system produces. The agent works for you, within the boundaries you set, not the other way around. And this is the crucial point, right here. We are using AI to speed up our work and augment our expertise, not to replace our judgment. The AI can handle the grunt work, the boilerplate, the implementation details, but the responsibility for the quality, the security, and the long-term health of that system, that stays right here with the human expert. Okay, so that's the what. How do we actually do this? Agentic engineering isn't just a vibe or a mindset, it's a system with a really clear blueprint. So let's break down the core components you need to build this structured, professional collaboration with AI. Now, this is really interesting because it's all about breaking down the work. At the very top, you have the agent. Think of it as the project manager, the orchestrator, but it doesn't do everything itself. No, it uses a library of skills. These are your team's repeatable workflows, like how we draft a technical spec or how we run a unit test. And then those skills use tools, which are the concrete things like reading a file or running a piece of code. But here's the thing. Even the best agent in the world is completely useless if it's working with bad information. And this is a huge insight. A massive number of AI failures aren't really the model's fault. They're our fault. It's a failure to give it clean, relevant context. Context rot. That's the real enemy here. So how do we fix that? Well, we can use a super practical framework for context engineering like Whisk. First, you write things down. Get your memory out of your head and into durable files. Then you isolate messy tasks like web research using subagents so they don't pollute your main workspace. Third, you select context just in time, only loading what you need for the task at hand. And finally, you only compress information as an absolute last resort. Clean context is everything. All right, let's see how these pieces come together in a practical, repeatable workflow. We've got our orchestration model, we've got our context management strategy, so let's put them into action with a simple, powerful loop you can use for pretty much any task. This is the PIV loop. Plan, implement, validate. Super simple. First, you plan. And this is crucial. You define your goals and your success criteria before any work starts. Second, you delegate the implementation to your agent. Let it do the work. And third, you validate. You review and test the agent's output against the objective standards you already set in your plan. This simple cycle, it forces discipline and ensures quality. Now, this might sound a little abstract, but this kind of discipline is being made practical right now by a whole new generation of tools. You've got collaborative environments like Claude Cowork and structured frameworks like OpenClaw that are built specifically to support this plan and review workflow. They're moving these ideas from theory right into your daily work. And when you start to adopt these practices, something really profound starts to happen. Your professional role begins to shift. You find yourself spending less time on the tactical execution, the doing, and a lot more time on strategic design. You become the architect of the system.
So, as the architect and the reviewer, your responsibilities are crystal clear. You're the one who defines the goals and the constraints. You're the one who reviews every single piece of AI-generated output with the same seriousness you'd review a human colleague's work. You validate everything with objective tests, and at the end of the day, you own the final product, and you are accountable for all of its outcomes.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. In an age where AI can generate information on demand, the skills that are actually valuable are changing. The scarce asset isn't just knowing stuff anymore. It's having the judgment, the ability to create structure, and the skill to direct these incredibly powerful systems to produce high-quality, reliable results. Your expertise is elevated, not replaced. So I guess that leaves us with a question to think about. Look at your own work, the reports you write, the data you analyze, the code you build. What is just one of those recurring workflows that you could start to re-architect today using these principles of planning, context engineering, and validation? Because that's really where this whole professional journey begins.